creating articles, is there any criteria that you use, or how do you maintain a balance between creativity and audience engagement?
I think if you prioritize your mission and your identity as a brand or as a magazine, audience engagement will naturally follow because you are focused on who you're talking to. So the criteria is just that, making sure that you are aligned with who you are. Whether it's in terms of how you do a story, your storytelling structures and all that. As long as whatever you're putting out is aligned with your values and your mission, you'll be fine.
Great. I think this question is for both Bea and Jax. With Vogue Philippines, Vogue in particular being such a global brand, are the challenges that come with managing a global brand similar to say how other countries do it, or is it there are certain specifics that are just localized here in the Philippines? And it's so, how do you manage or navigate through those challenges to make sure that Vogue Philippines is still at par with the standards that Vogue, the global brand, does?
Well, I suppose if we frame it this way, it is a 131-year-old brand with 28 global editions and I think a total reach of possibly 1 billion. So it is a big responsibility for us to make sure that we lead, as all the other titles do, with the values of inclusivity, diversity, sustainability, always celebrating craft and creativity. But I think at the core of Vogue Philippines is this conversation about identity. So for us, as we go along and we shoot the stories and we do our various engagements and we talk to the audience, we talk to them in the language that we're very familiar with. We talk as Filipinos and we tell stories as Filipinos. It's just all of this now through the lens of Vogue.
See, well, I gotta say, congratulations. In the span of a year, Vogue Philippines has really, truly made its mark, and I'm excited to see its future. I'm glad I'm part of some of the that year. I think our audiences are equally curious. When you are deciding on a cover, what's the thought process for that?
Would you like to? It's we can both answer this because and Jacs and the team know this. It is a collaborative effort. I think we deliberate quite a lot. We look at messaging. We also look at the power of an image. And there might be things that we have used as covers that were not planned to be a cover story in any capacity. But when you do see the pictures and they provoke a certain emotion, we know that that emotion is also very, very powerful. And there's something very authentic and very human in them. And we prefer to put that on the platform. And other times it might be that the messaging that it says, the picture, is what is important to us. I think Jax has mentioned to me that we don't just do pretty pictures, right? And I think you should go ahead and maybe you should talk more.
Yeah, because I think that's a motto among our team that it can't just be it can be just a great image, but what is it saying? What is the meaning behind it? And I think that's the principle that we have in choosing, and not just a cover photo, it's everything else. It needs to resonate because otherwise this is all hollow, right?
What is the biggest misconception about working in a magazine?
Well, as Bea mentioned, I've been working in magazines for 22 years. I've heard it all, including people think it's shallow, or people think it's all events and swag bags. But honestly, if you actually work, that's what people think it is. But when you actually work in magazine, you understand that, and I teach my class this also, that it's a great example of the marriage of commerce and creative disciplines. You don't see as much collaboration with intention as in any other industry than with doing magazine work. Because you're not just telling a story, you're trying to connect with people, like what Bea says. Right. So it's not just thoughtless things. It's a lot of intention. It's a lot of conversations.
Right.
I think just to add to that, and I haven't had the 20 years in publishing that Jacs has had. But what I can say about the last year and a half is we find that more than just having substantial content, the power that it has to connect to people is immense. And I think being privileged enough to work with a title like Vogue and have that responsibility as well as putting creativity in the forefront has allowed us to experiment so much with what we can do within our own context. And whether that's putting a national scientist on the cover or an amazing athlete as we have, who is 17 years old, Alex, or climate activists, our latest cover. I feel that is a wonderful time to be in the magazine industry if you have something important to say, because it has such a vast audience. So I think there's so much more you can see from the platforms if you decide to use it that way.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Bea. Thanks, Jax.